Dr. Mabelane, and I am currently going through a treatment journey. So on the 14th of December of 2020, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. The biggest shock of my life, because nothing prepares you for something like that. So I wanted to just share my journey thus far. So tomorrow is actually a month since I found out that I have breast cancer, and I've already started my treatment, which is chemotherapy. So I've got to go through 16 rounds of chemotherapy. The first round happened on the 4th of January, and that was quite intimidating. So the reason why I want to share this journey with everybody is that there's a lot of information on breast cancer, around diets, around treatment type. People do chemo, some people just do radiation, some people do chemo and radiation as well as surgery. But what I found is that there's not a lot of information around what happens to you emotionally. So I thought I would just put together an induction of what the emotions that you go through are. So basically, when I found out that I found out maybe a week before, because of the test that I had to go through, and I was like, there's something. So I was, when I was told about the actual diagnosis, I was already suspecting that it was there. So I went through a lot of tests, and that sort of told me that there's something wrong. So before I actually continue with the emotions that you go through, I just want to create an awareness of early detection. So I actually found a around my left, it's on my left, right? Around my left pec, which is this muscle here. It was quite inflamed, and I'm a rower, so I thought maybe it had to do with rowing. So I felt it, and I didn't go to the doctor. I went to the doctor in September only, and I told him, listen dude, there's something wrong here, can you check it out? And he's like, it's muscle, just stay off rowing for a week. I did, and then sort of the muscle subsided, so I was fine. So the inflammation was fine. However, in October of 2020, then my left boob started getting quite inflamed, and I was dispelling, my nipple was dispelling some fluids. So once again, I hooked up with the doctor, got that going, and then the test started happening. So I had to go for an ultrasound, I had to go for a mammogram, and then I had to go for a biopsy. So very intrusive and very personal thing that people are now all over your business. So that was how I found out. So just a note, if you need to, if you're I'm 37, and everybody was talking about how young I am and I shouldn't be having a mammogram, and in my research and in finding out about other cancer warriors and breast cancer survivors, breast cancer can happen at any age. There's a 24-year-old that I know of who currently is going through treatment for breast cancer. So the reasons for it are either family history, which I don't have, and then the only other thing the doctor said was alcohol. I was like, alcohol. But apparently alcohol has to do with, it's one of the causes. I didn't really go deep into that. But, so this disease is here, and the treatment for it, for my one, is 16 rounds of chemotherapy. Okay, so chemotherapy is basically the killer, the assassin of the cancer cells, and the unintended consequence of chemotherapy is that it kills your white blood cells. So what I'm about to go through is weight loss, hair loss. I shaved the sides because I like the style, but hair loss, that's what I'm expecting. Hair loss. The other side effect that I've received so far is fatigue. A lot of fatigue, so I get tired a lot and have to nap a lot. So that's that. But what I wanted to share mostly is the emotions that you go through. So for example, I have never ever needed anybody to do anything for me, except for my mom, like when I was a toddler and stuff. But what I'm saying is, like, I'm very independent and don't like people helping me with anything. And then suddenly there's this thing that's happening to me, and the emotions that I've gone through are hectic. So when I found out, I was in denial. Like, so first of all, I was angry. When the doctor told me I wanted to hit him with something, but I didn't have anything to hit him with. Like, honestly, I wasn't aggressive, but I was like, stop talking. Like, when he was like, yeah, the cells are malignant, I'm like, this guy must stop talking. So it was that denial, right? And it's real. I was like, he's not talking about me. Like, he's like, yeah, you have cancer. And then he was drawing things and he was telling me the treatment, and I was there, but it was like denial, right? That was the first thing. And then the second, like, wave of emotion that I went through was anger. Anger. Like, I was angry. I was angry that I have to deal with this. Like, especially it was December, like at the end of the year that we just had, and I'm like, seriously? But it's here, and the treatment is available, and I'm very, very grateful for medical aid, and also just the chemo treatment. As intimidating as it is, it's helping contain the cells where they are so that it doesn't spread anywhere else in the body. So check, that's great news. And what's also awesome is that my body has responded really, really well to the treatment. So that has to do with diet, and that has to do with just general conditioning of your body. So I'm really happy about that. And now I've got 15 rounds to go. So now what's happening to me is that, like, I was anxious coming into the chemo, because I remember the first time when they told me I had to go for chemo, I was like, I'm going to be thin, I'm going to be in a wheelchair, I'm going to have no hair. Those things are inevitable, and they are coming. And what you can do about that is just to prepare better. So coming into the first treatment, I made sure that I had support. I made sure that I had somebody with me, or people with me, to help me if I was freaking out. So when I got my treatment, I actually went in with a friend, and she wasn't allowed to come in because of COVID. So no visitors allowed, so I was on my own. So what I did is I took a latex glove and I blew it up, and I pretended that was a hand, and I held that for 4 hours as my support. So there's that I did, which was pretty cool. The staff members at the hospital were pretty cool as well. They were really helpful. So just make sure that you have support, and you prepare and you plan for days where you would need support. For example, I had to tell work, obviously, about my diagnosis, and tell them when I would be able to work. So for example, the first 3 days, give or take, of the chemo are hectic, because that's when the poison is actually poison that's in your body. It's now interacting and doing the assassination of the cancer cells. So it takes you apart, physically, right? So the first 3 days you are useless. Essentially, you don't have energy. The chemicals are working, and you're just tired from also sitting. It's a very emotionally draining process. Literally sitting in a chair and having chemicals put through your veins for 4 hours. This is the true story. That's what happened, and it takes a lot out of you emotionally after that. So just if you prepare for that, so the first 3 days, just make sure that you have your food done. So I started juicing, to boost my immune system, because with the chemo, what it does, it also attacks your white blood cells. So you've got to have your immune system up at all times, because any infection or any weirdness to you can compromise your health very rapidly, very quickly. So it's looking after your diet, what you eat, drinking a lot of fluids. So this is my water bottle that I have with me all the time. So drinking a lot of fluids, with electrolytes just to enhance, make sure that you're not dehydrated, because the soldiers of the chemo are killing inside right now. They're like assassinating the cancer cells. So I need to replenish my body with electrolytes at all times. So that's what I've been doing. And emotionally, this journey is hard, because you are like, what I'm finding is I'm constantly on the like, how am I gonna be coping when I'm thin and I'm frail? And all I've done to counter that, because it's a real thing, it's a fear, right? It's a fear of the unknown. It's an intimidating journey, I won't lie. But if you plan for it, then it sort of alleviates the anxiety of, am I going to be okay, right? So I've ensured that, like, and after at every chemo round, I have support, and I have notified work, and I can sleep for 3 days. Literally just sleep for 3 days and go through the motions. So what else happens to you? So it's just basically that the emotions are hectic. Just ensure that you have support and you have people around that you can talk to. The first week since my diagnosis, it was all about cancer. I was reading, I was on Facebook, it was just about cancer, right? And then you start sort of accepting that. So I started accepting that, and now I'm starting to do things. Like, for example, I didn't want to be seen. Like, my first approach was, for the first 6 months, because my treatment is 6 months long. For the first 6 months of this year, nobody will see me because I'll be frail and whatever. That's not good. That's not a good approach. So that was my initial thinking. Because it does do that. It's like, oh no, people are gonna say I'm needy, and because yeah, the chemicals are going to mess up your body, essentially. So just knowing that, and knowing that you can have support around you, and communicate your needs well. So my needs are basically company. I need company. I need to talk to somebody. I have that. My mind does run away with me, I'll be honest, with like horrific things, but I bring it back. So what I do like fun stuff. Like, for example, I like to exercise, so I exercise with my friends and I go for walks. So it's not like a death sentence, like, because everybody keeps saying you must be careful of the sun and whatever. So it's like life is normal as it was, but you just now more careful because your immune system is compromised. That's the only difference, right? So I still go for my walks, I still go rowing, I still hang out with a few friends, wearing masks and social distance, of course. And what else did I want to share? So the induction into the emotional things, or into the emotional turmoil that you will go through is first the denial, yeah? And what I did with that didn't last long. That was just like maybe a day, okay, or maybe a day or two, and then a lot of anger, and I allowed it. I was angry. I was angry at the world. I was angry at the boob. I'm like, this is a naughty boob. Why is it getting cancer? I was angry, right? And then I allowed that, because it's an emotion, I allowed that to sort of settle. I spoke to a therapist and sort of got in tools around how to handle that. So speak to somebody, like a qualified therapist to speak about, because it's like trauma, It's like trauma. This is traumatic. It's like shock to the body and to the system, and what happens to the body, and what you can expect, and how to counter that. So she told me I would go through bargaining, and I went through all of that, right? And that happened over the Christmas period. So thankfully I was at home, I was with family, so it wasn't that bad, right? And then sort of the acceptance, you accept, okay, accept. And then what came on after that was like another traumatic realization of the chemo. When I was reading about chemo and Googling chemo, be careful of what you Google, because everybody reacts differently to the treatment. So other people, it knocks them down. Other people, it's just nausea, it's just tiredness and things like that. But what I learned about like the first 3 days, stay on top of your nausea tablets, right? Day 3 got me. Day 3 got me where I was like, ah! Right? So stay on top of your nausea tablets. Stay hydrated, drink a lot of water, drink a lot of fluids to replenish, because inside your body, the assessments of cancer are happening as I speak right now. They're killing the cells. So it's a lot of replenishing of electrolytes so that I'm not dehydrated. A lot of oxytocin level type of activities, so things to get your mood up, because it's such a traumatic thing. And it's like, when you think cancer, like death is like close by, like it's not related, but when you think that, you're like you know of somebody that has died of, and so you must just be careful of not staying with yourself and the cancer, because that can consume you and take you to weird places. So find things to do that are fun for yourself. Like I live in Cape Town, and my family and friends, most of my friends are in Johannesburg. So what I do Zoom chats, just to see family, just to, hey, how you doing? Do crazy things that you would normally do. And then I have exercise buddies here I train with, and then I hang out, I go for a braai, just like your life needs to continue as it has been, and try and not allow this like diagnosis to be like, yeah, now it's me and you, because that will break your spirit a little bit, and it has a potential of actually isolating even more. So this is what I wanted to share. I hope it helps you, and I will do another vlog towards my second round of chemo, and just jotting down exactly what I've been going through. So far so good, so far excellent. It's just the anxiety and the emotions part that I wanted to share, and looking strong. The doctor said by tomorrow I'll be losing hair by day 10. Yeah, it's so clinical. The doctors are so clinical. By day 10 you lose hair. No, don't say that. Yeah, I was saying that to him. And then what's also funny is like what people have said to me. So like how we are in lockdown, and how everybody is like a specialist of this vaccination and whatever. And then now there's talk about the Telegram and the Signal app for messaging. Now everybody is an expert in that. Even with this, like when I told a few people, and some of them were coming to me, and they're like, cancer, you have to starve cancer. I'm like, yo, okay. And apparently cancer is a lover of sugar, and you must starve cancer of sugar. And cancer is a lover of alcohol, you must starve cancer of alcohol. I was like, okay. So you get unsolicited advice from people, and then what's also like very, very interesting is that family and friends, like in the same line, when they're talking to me, they're talking about somebody who had cancer but they died. And then when they're talking to me about it, it's like, yeah, I remember when this one was. I'm like, oh, like, so family, please forgive them. They just want to talk about and support you. So if they're making you uncomfortable, just let them know, hey man, you're scaring me. Don't talk about cancer and death in the same sentence when you're with me. Please take that outside, because it is scary, right? And then also, like, friends and family don't know how to approach it, because like I've seen with my family, right? My family are like really strong and really highly supportive people, but I am such an independent person, and I don't really talk or express my needs very well. Like I've seen how that has sort of like crippled my family a little bit. So you've got to be comfortable with saying what you need. Like I called my mom the other day. I'm like, I want bananas. She's all the way in Joburg. I'm like, don't really eat banana. Like just sense of humor as well is important. And yeah, just for your family, like your family members and friends, I find in mine are more like they're more scared than me. So I'm finding I have to comfort them at times, and that's what you will experience as well, on this journey. And you've just gotta you gotta swallow, and then just, yeah. So if that makes you uncomfortable, communicate that to them. But everyone is there to support you, and let them know how you are feeling and what your needs are. And yeah, so far, so good. Thank you, and I hope this helps. And I will continue to share going forward in my journey. Peace and love, and yeah, this is part of life, even though it sucks. Cancer sucks. But it is what it is. Peace out. My name is Tato. Thanks for watching.